So shall I start? Yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So thank you, Laura, for giving me the floor. I wish you everybody a good afternoon. I am very pleased to have the opportunity to talk with you, to share with you my experience and insight as a theater director of large collaborative theater projects, and to explore in the next minutes how those practice and those experience can inspire you some fresh ideas and efficient methods to conduct a large transformation. So the program of the agenda of my presentation is this one. Okay. So I will, sorry, just 1 minute. Yes. So I will talk a little bit about myself and about a few general introduction about the transformation challenge and the theater experience. Then in the first part, I will talk about the project I designed about 5 years ago, which is a little bit special in terms of theater experience. And I will finally, and then I will move to the translation of those insights in the context of change management methodology with the 3 points that are important assets of theater practice, which are the participation, the embodiment, and how to drive momentum. Then I will do a little wrap up and we will have some times for a question. Laura will facilitate the question. So I will also, so first of all, a little bit about myself. So I am educated in management and in economics. Then 18 years ago, I founded a design consulting agency, specialized in design thinking and innovation in France. Then I moved this company in China in 2010 to develop my business. And I developed a lot of innovation projects with global groups, mostly in Europe and in Asia, from Toyota to Zara, many different things. And then I decided to move to another type of career, a new stage of my career. And I moved back in Europe in 2019, so it's very recent, to design and direct a collaborative theater project around the world, inspired by the concept I created, which is called the 99 Project. So my career in theater started with a long time ago, because I've been writing for a long time, but I wrote my first theater play in 2009. And then in 2015, while I was in China, I produced a play. I wrote and produced a play called 99 Women. And this was the initial step to a larger concept called the 99 Project. And since then, I have created and co-produced 6 plays based from this concept. So when it comes to change and transformation program, I have read a little bit the literature of consultants about this, and it appears that there are some key success factors that are very important to keep in mind. Is that it's the importance, for example, of the leadership, of the commitment of the leadership, the need of a change that happen in a way that is, in a timeline that is reasonable, so faster than usually, not to have any delay. Then another important criteria is to have a good participation of employee as actor to the change management process. And finally, there is a success factor of implementing those behaviors in the long run, so that they must be rooted for good. So on this, how can theater help transform your organization? So first, I will not do a crash course about theater, but you probably know that theater exists as a form of art for many, many years. It has 2,500 years of practice in two things: entertainment of people and edification of people. Entertainment, so it means it influences their state of mind, and edification, it means that it can teach them, show them how to think, behave, and act. This is a very important aspect of theater, is that it refers to the world in itself, to the other aspect of existence, and it show it on stage so that people can transform. So by definition, I would say theater is meant to be a transformative experience. So that's why we can assume that some of the practice of theater can be translated into the context of change management methodology and inspire them. So indeed, theater is already used in businesses, in corporations, but mostly the usage of theater today is a medium for soft skill training. So it is, for example, you can hire a drama teacher to come and coach business professionals to become stronger communicator, team player, and leaders. You can teach them how to improve their voice projection, how to increase their presence and authority, how to communicate better, how to have better storytelling when they do presentation, how to enhance their creativity and do a little bit of team building as well. So all this, of course, theater as a practice, as a training is very useful, very powerful. But my project, my practice of theater is a little different, and this is what I will explain to you through the 99 project. It's more ambitious somehow. It's beyond the individual soft skill, individual skills to apply to a large-scale collective transformation. So this project, I started it in 2015 by writing a play called 99 Women, and I had the idea to stage it with 99 women. So not professional actresses, but ordinary women that I could find in Shanghai. So I did it, and to do this production, I had to design an ambitious theatrical project combining different activities: theater, dance, music, photography, but also a project team that could drive those actresses, 99 actresses, to the final purpose, which was to stage that play. So the project team consisted of the 99 actresses and dancers, and also other participants in more supporting roles, such as team leaders, a communication team, a production team, a sponsoring team, even a social project team. So this is the way I did it. And the success of this project, it was a huge success both for the participant and for the public, gave me some idea to expand this experience and to develop what I call the 99 project. So the 99 project, since this first pilot, I would say, has become a project that is designed to for individuals and community looking for transformation, for mobilization, for growth, for revitalization. It's a project that has different steps. It goes from storytelling to staging. And so the play, the purpose of this project is to write and stage a play with 99 characters, but inspired by real life story of people, of participants, of stakeholders. So to do that, we start by a phase of collecting stories. It can be through interviews, it can be other way as well. Then those stories are being transformed by the writing. So other participants participate in writing workshops, and they wrote from the testimonial, from the material collected in the previous stage, they write short monologues. Those monologues are then composed to form a play with 99 characters, and this play is then being staged with 99 people sometimes, or perhaps some less people, but acting the 99 characters. So to support such a big creation process and journey, of course, there is a methodology to do that, and so guidelines to conduct this project, as well as an organization. The organization is, all this work is done in an autonomous team of around 10 people supported by coaches. And these coaches, as I said before, is either external coaches, or they can be also participants themselves who handle different roles. And of course, this project, the purpose of this project is to write and stage a play. So in itself, it's an outcome that is sufficient, and it's an outcome that is a great outcome. But of course, the play, the journey of this theater project is also to support a purpose from the community. And so it means I will, usually in the design part of the project, I will customize it so that it can meet the specific context and purpose of a given community and organization. So this project has traveled already around the world, and of course, a project in New York is not exactly the same as a project in India or in France or in China. It has different type of participants, different type of community and organization, and different purpose. So you can see here an overview, a little bit of the different scale and purpose of the project. First, in terms of scales, project can be relatively small, and so from 60 people to almost 300, for example, in China. The focus can be either on theater, for example, in Shanghai in 2015, the focus was really the theater part, the staging part, while 2 years later in Shanghai, the focus was much more balanced between the storytelling, the writing, the composition, and the staging. In the recent year, I started to apply this project to more professional context. So for example, in Grasse, you know, is the capital of perfume in France. It's a worldwide capital of perfume. So it has been applied to the fragrance industry, to apply to the practice of the perfume worker. But it also applied to a social housing big NGO with 200 people involved, and as well as a woman executive in France. So different topics, different ways of conducting the project, putting the emphasis on different aspects of the creative process. So do you have any question at that stage about the project? No? Shall I continue?
No, no question for the moment.
No question for the moment, so everything clear.
Yeah.
So this is the project 99 project. So now the question, okay, is how to translate that into the context of how can this practice inspire methodology that are involved in while changing organization in a business context. So here I would like to stress 3 dimensions. These are coming from, of course, my observation, because I have done many projects now, but also from the feedback of the participants. Last year, at the end of the year, I conducted a survey, an evaluation among the participants of the previous edition to ask them what they got from the project. So I could identify also some criteria that were important, and also from the reaction of the public, because as it is a theater project, I have a public, and the public react and gave me what they think about it. So 3 areas of the project that are particularly efficient and that could meet some challenges of transformation. the first point is participation, how to embark stakeholder into a transformative journey. The second question is embodiment, how to make sure the new mindset and behavior can last for good. And momentum, the third point is how to create momentum within large projects so that you can deploy them efficiently. So first point, participation. The key idea of the 99 project is, especially at the beginning, but all along the project as well, to give space and time for stakeholders to become actors of their own transformation. So to do that, the first thing that the 99 project is doing is to make an attractive menu, is to propose and suggest an attractive menu of activities for participants to join. And so to attract them and invite them to join the project, those activities has to help them to express themselves, to experiment, and to gain the power that they need. The second aspect that the 99 project is using is to use intensively the notion of active listening. We start the project by interviews, and these interviews are done between the participants. So these are cross interviews that enable anyone to express personal concern, expectation, dreams, ideas, as well as to feel valued and heard. And this is essential because there is not so many moments in life where you can express yourself freely and being valued and heard for what you say. And finally, there is a third point that is more specifically linked to the writing activities. When a writer uses interview report as inspiration to write short monologues, a 99 short monologue, they usually reflect, they develop empathy with other stories and become aware of their own posture. So this is at the same time a way to raise awareness, so they think about themselves, as well as starting the transformative experience. It's already a way to initiate it, to start it. So these are the three core ideas of the 99 project, and I would like to give you a few examples from the project. So first, one of the things that was very surprising is that the participants to the project are volunteers. They are working people. 68% of them have a full-time job. So they do that in addition to their normal professional life. And despite of their busy professional life, 57% of them embrace multiple roles in the project. So they chose to do more than one creative activity. And sometimes they accumulated even a creative activity as well as a coaching activity. They became also team leader. And so this is the sign, for me, this was a sign that people were willing to do those activities so that these activities were empowering them and beneficial for themselves. And the second point, of course, is the satisfaction. So you see, it's a project that is 92% of participants are extremely satisfied or satisfied of their experience, and 87% are ready to embark again for a new project. So it's kind of a positive feedback, I think. So now, how can we use those elements of attractive project activity, active listening, and raise personal awareness in a context of change management practice? I think the core idea is that change management program often focus too much on the content, developing a new business, implementing a new methodology in a division, introducing a new skills, a new idea. But they often neglect the importance of creating a context to prepare the transformation process. So the importance of finding a way to trigger enthusiasm and reinforce demand for change, a way to collect ideas and insight about what people think about the topics, about the challenge and the purpose. Identifying as well stakeholder concern, being able to identify the teams and people who may need more support, identifying as well the leadership capabilities for deploying the change in the future, reinforcing important message, what is the key to this purpose, what is key for people, share and refine the vision and the transformation plan, and measure the readiness for change. So I think the core idea of that is that before being able to rush to the content of the project, it's extremely important to create a context and to accept even to waste a little bit of time at the beginning. It's not wasted time, but it's a time for people to embark, get used to it. And not everybody is super quick to do that. So there is a time for people to cook together to be able to then enter into a transformative journey. The second asset and key element of the 99 project is how to make new mindset and behavior last. So this is the way it is done is that it's to offer and to suggest a variety of creative experience that will enable people to make discovery. But this discovery are meant to be felt in the physical body. The role of the physical body is absolutely crucial to incorporate new capabilities and new role for good. So it's simple. Think about the body. Embodiment means the body. Experience needs to be done in the body. So 4 ideas about that. The first one is the importance of the mind-body link. This has been shown, this is the essence of theater, but this has been proved as well by, science, neuroscience, that in the learning process, the importance of connecting cognition and movement, body and mind, is essential. So the idea here is to do experience that can be felt in the body. The second thing is that not everybody is learning the same way. Not everybody wants to become an actor. And so this means that the project, the 99 project, is offering a palette of different learning experience. You can learn to be a better interviewer. You can learn to be a better writer, a better actor, a better dancer, a better singer, a better composer, a better team leader. You have many learning experience and skills that are offered that correspond as well to different learning profiles. The third point is linked to this notion of art practice and creativity. When you want to train people to do creative things, there is a very important thing to do is to put restriction to them. It's very difficult to say to someone, create. This is impossible. You have to give them very strict guidelines to be able to unleash their creativity. And it's also important to unleash creativity, but avoid repeating stereotype attitude. Otherwise, people repeat what they already know. And so it's not interesting. And finally, the third ingredient to make those mindset and behavior last is to use feedback and to be very good in how you give feedback. In theater, there is something very important, is that you act in front of an audience. And this audience is essential for you to get feedback, to increase awareness, and to consolidate new learnings and grow. So here, I would like to illustrate that. So first of all, in the project, this is feedback from participants. You can see that many of them choose to do a mix of new activity and activities that they already know. So for example, people already have done some kind of amateur theater in their life, or they have been manager in their company, so they can be team leader. So they choose to do a mix and new and well-known activity to mix the level of, you know, going out of their comfort zone and discovering new things. But 41% chose to do purely new activity. And then I would like to talk about this lady that you can see on the picture. Her name is Kidelia. She was one of the participants of the project in China, and she's an American, and she's a journalist. And as she was involved in acting. So as an exercise, I asked her to embody a dying empress who poisoned a rival before suffering the same fate. So you see the restriction was pretty strict. But as she is American, and she has no royalty. She doesn't know what is exactly a royalty, so she could only guess how a queen would walk and sound. So she tried to embody this dying empress, and she could hear murmurs of approval from the group watching her, and finally they gave her a little applause when she was finished. So this was a kind of a waking moment for her. She thought, I want to walk like that all the time. I want to talk like that all the time. And maybe I already do. So this little anecdote for me illustrates very well the dynamics that goes from creative limits, that push to experiment novelty, then to get feedback, that bring awareness, and then help incorporate a new behavior. So how to translate those ideas coming from theater into change management practice? So I think here the core idea is pretty simple, is that to achieve lasting changes, transformation program must go beyond structure, processes, and system, and take into account the physical dimension of change in order to incorporate those new mindset and behavior in the long run. So this means, for instance, to foster direct, immersive, multisensory experience to metabolize new skills. This means developing training modules that could match different learning profiles. This means in the creative session to put some limit to stimulate creativity and non-stereotype attitude. It means as well to improve feedback expression to build a culture of continuous learning and support. Third direction, third ingredients of change. Yeah, hello. So something the 99 project is doing well is to create momentum within large project and within the project itself, and then worldwide, because the project in itself has deployed in the worldwide with limited effort from my side. So one of the reasons is that the 99 project is led by purpose, with a limited number of process and structuring principles. And the fact of releasing this control help unleash to unleash individual and collective energy that in turn pulls the project towards its destination. So how we do that in the 99 project? So first of all, we have, this is pretty normal, I would say, but we have very clear understanding of the outcome and milestone. When we start a project of collaborative theater, we have no idea what will be the final play. So the content is unknown, but the way is very well known. So the outcome of the different work product along the way are very precisely defined and perfectly clear, as well as a milestone. The steps are very clearly defined, and the final milestone, which is the date of the performance, is known from the beginning. So there is no choice. We have to go to the destination no matter what. So the second aspect that is developed in the 99 project is a mix of flexibility and structure. I said before that participants are working in teams with the support of facilitator, of leader. The team are autonomous in their day-to-day work, and they have no possibility of discussing the outcome of their mission, but they can define their own rules, their own ethics, their own guidelines, their own criteria, as they learn by doing. And so they have a flexibility on the how. A consequences of that is that they are fully accountable of what they do, fully accountable of their work, but also of the position of their work into the final production. And their responsibility push them to make some decision, including artistic decision, staging decision, etc. But they have to follow a decision process called advice, and I'm sure you know what this advice process means. And the fourth ingredient of that is that all of this work very well to create momentum as long as you have a lot of communication within the team and between the teams during this entire transformation process. And in the 99 project, a team is dedicated to keep track of the meaningful anecdote and stories and practice that are delivered all along the project, to be able to document it, and as well as to create at different moments some celebration accomplishment. So it can be newsletter, it can be event, and of course we have the final event that is the performance of the play, but we have some milestone along the journey to celebrate all the learning and to consolidate them collectively. So I will give you some examples. So this momentum, as I say, takes many forms. It takes the form of a book that usually I wrote at the end of the project to document the process. But the dynamics of the project goes also beyond the participants themselves and resonate as well with the public. When we stage the play, we usually interact with the public. And what is very interesting is that the public themselves found a lot of different things in the representation of the play, in the production of the play. Some will say a moving performance. Some will respond to the fact that it's an innovative play with 99 characters. Some will be responsive to the content, a reflection of a woman's life, and life itself. Some will be surprised by the non-ego style of the project. Some will admire the creative process and the dynamic of the way it has been made. So what is very interesting is that just like within the project, already people found something different, but also the public is looking for something different and found something different for themselves. So to wrap up, so how to translate that into the context of change management practice? To me, to scale up, transformation program must refrain from implementing more processes, and especially more controlling processes. And they need to dare to reinforce the capability of organization to learn by doing and to navigate successfully under uncertainty. So this means, of course, to set target with a clear timeline. This is obvious, this is a given thing. But it's also to build a reduced set of consistent structuring process and practices, not many, the minimum you can do. It's also to allow teams to self-organize. It's to manage progress using simple indicators. It's to find a way to create and communicate positive experience, especially at the beginning. It's a way to collect feedback, concern, anecdotes, to facilitate a continuous learning. And it's to celebrate the accomplishment, to align the organization all along the project. So to wrap up everything, so large-scale transformation can be very complex and risky. They can be complex because they have many people, complex because the topics is sensitive, because you have many different culture, many different places, because the impact is massive. And in this context, theater practice can inspire change management expert and leader to better address the human and cultural dimension of change. So 3 ideas that I repeat: how to engage consumer. The solution is to make transformation activities attractive. How to root new mindset. The key idea is to leverage on the mind-body connection, so physical experience. How to scale up is to build an evolutive organization, a living organization that can navigate under uncertainty and by themselves. So now it's over for my presentation. Thank you for your attention, and I am ready for questions if you have.
Thank you, Geneviève. Very interesting. Do we have questions?
Yes.
I'm asking. I don't see any for the moment. Or you can talk, or you can write.
So yeah.
No.
Nobody is asking question.
Yes, we do have one. So yes, Henrietta, I think you can talk.
Yes, hi.
Hello.
Can you hear me? Hey, thank you so much for this extremely interesting presentation. I really love it because I believe that what you're saying, really this mind and body and really acting out the change really makes a difference, and it helps people get the confidence. Maybe a question, like I work in a very traditional manufacturing construction company, in a way, engineering focused. Have you seen examples of people who kind of are so restricted in a way into their manners and this engineering type of a profile to actually transform themselves through this potentially what you just explained, the methodologies used, etc.?
Yes, I have some example because I work with many different people. So for example, it can be either people who are not at ease, for example, in acting. Acting is a very daring experience. So that's why I usually design different ways of expressing yourself that correspond to different type of personality. So for example, for people who are pretty introvert and shy, the important thing is to find the way, the step is not too complicated to do. For instance, people love to do interviews. This is something I notice, it's very interesting. They love to ask questions or to write. For example, introvert people usually like to write, and because they feel more at ease, they can be more reflexive, analytical. So there is always a way to find activities that are both, carrying this confidence and the openness and the expression while being soft to people and not being brutal, because I know that theater can be a very tough experience. So it's this is something I have done, for example, through writing a lot, through interviews, as well as so of course, then after you have a progress into those activities. Theater start by very soft soft way of doing it. So so there is always a way to engage people without shocking them, without being too violent. I am not a violent person.
That sounds fantastic, because I think exactly what you explained, these kind of yeah, we use a lot the Myers-Briggs, so introverts, extroverts, and all that, and especially introverts seem to love that, because it kind of gives it verbalizes what their kind of how their behavior is, or what their preferences are. So I think really this interviewing is a great tip. Thank you for that. Because there's of course somehow especially in engineering functions, typically they're quite introvert focused. So more in the sales, of course, on the extrovert side. But thank you, very, very interesting.
Thank you. Thank you, Henrietta, for your question. Any other question? Raising hands or writing question? No? Okay. Okay.
Yeah, there's nothing on my end.
Okay. Okay, then thank you very much. Thank you very much, Geneviève, for this great presentation. And well, if you say you want to say your last word before we end this session, and thank you all to all the participants as well.
Oh no, I have nothing more to add, except that you know, practice theater either for yourself, and please introduce it a little bit in your large corporation. I think it will be very beneficial for your employee.
Thank you, Geneviève. Thank you all,
Okay,
and
bye-bye,
have a great day, and stay safe.